Development meeting to order for Wednesday, July 9th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Malinowski, roll call, please.
Mr. Tippy.
Here.
Mr. Conley.
Present.
Mr. Troxel.
Here.
Mr. Schmidt.
Here.
Mr. Getzlaff.
Present.
Attorney Austin.
Present.
Chief Cruzan.
Present.
Deputy Chief Patterson.
Present.
Chief Dowling.
Here.
Deputy Chief Zagraki.
Present.
Mr. Pintar. Here. Mr. Volkman.
Here.
Diane Hauer. Here. Janice Malinowski, present.
Minutes of the June 11th, 2014 public meeting. Pleasure of the board. So moved. Second. Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Claims, any additional claims, Mrs. Malinowski?
No additional claims.
That being said, pleasure of the board. So moved. Have a motion?
Second.
Second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Correspondence?
No correspondence,
Any reports from staff members?
no reports.
Council members? Okay. Hearing none, we have no old business. We will go to new business. Resolution 2014-1 is a resolution of the Schererville Redevelopment Commission concerning the 2015 budget year determination for the TIF review for the Kennedy Avenue allocation area and all matters related thereto. Mr. Volkman?
I would yield to Mrs. Janet Kalinowski for that.
Okay, Ms. Malinowski?
This resolution is in regard to the Schererville redevelopment as far as their budget year. And we determined at this time that our TIF revenues have not reached, I believe, Mr. Austin, 200%. So therefore, they will stay with the town and not be recapped or captured outside of the municipality. And that has to do, for this first one, it has to do with the, I believe it's the Kennedy Avenue allocation. We actually have three of them with three separate resolutions.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Tippy?
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2014-1.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Austin.
before you all leave tonight, if you would indulge the request to execute the resolutions, if approved. We're on the deadline of July 15th for circulation of documents to the overlapping taxing units pursuant to the Indiana Code, and that needs to be done.
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
Thank you.
Okay, under Resolution 2014-2 is another resolution of the Schererville Redevelopment Commission concerning the 2015 budget year determination for TIF revenues for the Plum Creek allocation area and all matters related thereto. Mrs. Malinowski.
And that is the same, the Plum Creek area. They want to make sure when you have the total amount of revenue and the total amount of expenses, the revenue divided by the expenses is not over the 200%. And in our case, again, for the Plum Creek, it is not.
Mr. President.
Motion to approve Resolution 2014-2.
We have a motion. Second. And a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And the third resolution, Resolution 2014-3, is a resolution of the Schererville Redevelopment Commission concerning the 2015 budget year determination for the TIF revenue for the Shops on Main allocation area and all matters related thereto. Mrs. Malinowski.
Again, this is for the 3rd district, for Shops on Main, definitely for the next few years. What is expected in increment will be lower, and as we go forward, hopefully, it will make up an increment to pay the bonds. But for right now, we are at about 196.66%. So we're still under the 200%, where the expenses do not exceed the revenue, and therefore the allocation will stay within the district or the municipality.
Thank you, Mrs. Malinowski.
You're welcome.
Pleasure of the board, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Mr. Troxel.
I move that we approve resolution 2014-3 as presented.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
At this time, I'll entertain any business from the floor regarding redevelopment. Any business from the floor regarding redevelopment? Any business from the floor regarding redevelopment? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned, and we will go to the water board meeting.
Good evening, I'd like to call the Waterworks Board meeting for Wednesday, July 9th. Roll call will be the same minus Mr. Troxel and Mr. Connolly for the Water Board. First item is the minutes of the June 11th meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Claims, any additional claims, Mrs. Malinowski?
No additional claims at this time.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Correspondence on Waterworks, Mr. Holcomb?
And no correspondence or reports.
No old business, new business. Resolution 2014-3 is a resolution to transfer funds within the categories of appropriations. Mr. Malinowski?
And this is for the water O&M, and it is transferred from a 400 level to our health insurance line item 134 for $8,580.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. At this time, I'll open it up to the floor regarding Waterworks. Any business from the floor regarding Waterworks? No business from the floor. This meeting is adjourned. We'll move into the utility. I'd like to call order the utility board meeting for Wednesday, July 9th. The roll call will add Mr. Troxel and Mr. Conley back to the board. Minutes of the June 11th meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 5-0. Claims, Mrs. Malinowski, any additional claims?
No additional claims at this time.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Correspondence on utilities, Mr. Volk.
No correspondence.
Reports, staff. Mr. Pintar, any reports? Council members, no old business. We'll move into new business. New business item A, satisfaction of the VCFT LLC sewer recapture agreements, May 1st, 1998, amended July 24, 2001, and the second recapture agreement by July 24, 2001 for Regency Center at the Shops on Main. Mr. Volk.
Mr. Chairman, this is in regards to a sewer recapture agreement that was put in place by basically Bruce Boyer when he originally developed the property at the corner of Main Street and 41. Went through several amendments as he acquired more property and entered negotiations with other property owners. Actually, it's a sewer service area that goes from Omni to the north to Main Street on the east side of 41. The town of Schererville is responsible for collecting those fees, so this would be a collection from Regency and then returned to Boyer and his group. They have actually negotiated settlement between themselves, and this provided documentation to the town saying that they have satisfied the standards of that, and so this is for documentation purposes, and then for the request of Attorney Austin, should be action at a meeting here tonight.
Mr. Austin.
I recommended that this be a public meeting action. We did receive correspondence from Regency, as Bob indicated, and it's just very coincidental. I read in the advance sheets just this week a case by the Indiana Appellate Courts ruling that the town of Huntertown was responsible under a similar agreement that they did not fulfill and monitor. So the law is really clear about these types of contracts, and this is simply shoulder our folks, if you will, of the responsibility.
What's the board?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Item B is resolution 2014-8. It is a resolution to transfer funds within a category of appropriations. Mr. Malinowski.
And this is from our utility wastewater O&M, and it is from a 400 level to a 100 level for health insurance, $11,447.
Thank you, Mr. Malinowski.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, move to accept resolution 2014-8 as presented. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'd like to open it up to the floor regarding utilities. Any comments from the floor regarding utilities? No comments? Well, this meeting will be adjourned. We'll move into the town council meeting. Thank you.
Call the meeting of the Schererville Town Council for Wednesday, July 9, 2014 at 7:28. Roll call, Mr. Malinowski. Well, actually, we'll just keep the roll call the same as utility board.
Yes.
Item 2 is minutes from July 11, 2014 public meeting. Pleasure of the council members.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing seen none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes approved 5-0. Any additional claims?
No additional claims at this time.
Pleasure of claims by council members.
So moved.
Get a motion?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing seen none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Claims are approved 5-0. Any correspondence, Mr. Volkman, here in town council business?
No correspondence, I have one report. I did receive a report from Butler, Fairman, and Seaford regarding the Klein Avenue project, reporting that to date, approximately 12% of the project is completed and it is on schedule.
On that note, I believe the scheduled date for completion is October 4th.
That's correct.
And for those in the audience, there's a roundabout being constructed right now on the intersection of Klein Avenue, Warren, Seaburger, and 77th there. So, staff, anything from staff, Jeff?
Mr. Chairman, just want to give the council an update on the Stephen Park project. It's the town's CDBG project. The playground equipment at Stephen Park has been installed, and the rubberized surface will go on next week. So the playground equipment's up, but please resist temptation to play on it just yet. Park's still under construction for about another 2 weeks, so all will be wrapped up.
Good. Is everything going as planned?
Yes, it is.
Chief Cruzan, anything to report?
Just one thing, Mr. Chairman. I believe everybody in the room is aware we suffered a recent line of duty death of a Gary police officer. I just received word just prior to this meeting that we lost a firefighter in the city of Houston about an hour ago. That brings a total of 3 line of duty deaths for police officers, all within the state of Indiana in the last week, as well as 3 firefighters across the country, one in Houston, one in California, and the other one was in New York since June 29th. It just is a reminder of the inherent dangers for all of our police officers and firefighters across the nation. I'd like to ask, with you, if we just have a moment of silence especially for Officer Westerfield, contiguous community to us here in Lake County, and for all the police officers and firefighters that we've lost recently in this last week.
Sure, Grant, let's have a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Dowling?
Nothing to add.
Nothing. Council members, anything to report this time, Mr. Tippy?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to give just a brief update on where we stand with the E911 consolidation. At our last meeting, we approved to sign on to an interlocal agreement to a second PSAP within the county. The following week, Cedar Lake approved the same agreement, and on July 1st, St. John also approved the agreement. And as of July 1st, all communities within Lake County are now consolidated within 2 PSAPs as required by law. So we finally got to that accomplishment here. We have also completed our technical and legal research regarding our PSAP, and we are prepared to enter into discussions with the other PSAP, and we will be contacting them soon to request a meeting to discuss those details. So, thank you.
All right, thank you for your report. Councilman, anything else you would like to say?
Mr. Charles?
Yes, Councilman Schmidt.
Yeah, I have a question for Chief Cruzan. Chief, I know you've been working on fire station sites and areas and stuff. Can you give us any update or briefing on it?
Sure, Mr. Schmidt. Over the course of the last 45 days, we've been evaluating different locations for a fire station, of which we've determined that the best location, based on the report that Dr. Joe Ferrandino had provided to us from Indiana University Northwest, that the most ideal location would be on the west side of US 41 in the Janice and Caroline area. I've spoken with all the property owners in that area, the property that's actually contiguous to town-owned property, and our next course of action would be council-directed, whereas we would need to seek appraisals and the possibility of purchasing the property that's contiguous to the town-owned property. I would request through Council President Troxel at a time that's convenient for all the councilmen that we reconvene for me to present the information, the value that's been expressed to me by the property owners, so that I can move forward in the direction that you choose me to.
Mr. Bowman, do we have an appraisal on the property that Chief Joe's talking about?
You do not.
At this time, I would suggest, Chief, I know you've done some research on this, and we thank you for that. I would propose that any reports you have turn over to Mr. Volkman, and he will disseminate to us as we move forward on this process of identifying the location.
I will, thank you.
Any other councilman comments at this time? Okay, at this point, we're going to open up to the public regarding public comments regarding any agenda item. So the agenda item here that you want to discuss, and now's your time to publicly discuss it. Any public comments on agenda items? Seeing and hearing none, this portion is closed. At this point, we have a presentation from the Schererville Central Lions Club. Please come up and state your name and address for the records, please. Mr. Freeman. And Mr. Mesnikowski.
Paul Freeland, 2331 Starlight Drive, Schererville, Indiana. Member of the Schererville Central Lions. This is our president, Paul Mesnikowski. It took him until 8th grade to learn to spell his last name. Mr. President, council members, we thank you for this opportunity this evening to do what lives do best. That is to serve and give away money. And I know that our chiefs of police and fire love to come up here and get some money, as well as our fellow member, Phil, from the Children's Safety Village. So if you all just come on up. Chief, good grief, it says $500. You're welcome.
$500.
Yeah. Those appreciate having any other checks.
One more time.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you. Got it. Thank you.
Joe?
Okay. Chief, now, you get 2 checks, but not for $500 each. $250 for the DARE program and $250 for the community watch And thank you for all you do.
You're good, go ahead. This is taking a while.
Now, y'all wonder how we get this money? I'm sure you've seen us standing on street corners soliciting. But without the community support, we can't do this. And I want you to understand, this is not the Schererville Lions alone making these monetary awards, but it's the Schererville community. You're very important. Well, Lionville, we all get down there at the safety village. We know what you do. In fact, we own a little house there, don't we? Yes, you do. And one of the things we've been able to do there is to examine infants' vision, children from approximately 1 year to 5 years of age. So that's another little thing that we do besides staying on the street. And we'd like to present you with a check for $2,000. And thank you.
I'd like to take a moment and thank the Lions for their continued support. In the last 4 years, they've donated over $7,000 to the Tri-Town Safety Village. And we've, at the Safety Village, caught numerous children with vision problems, being that we run the camera system when we have Halloween safe trick or treat there at the Safety Village. So with this ongoing process, we can help all the community children in more than just safety. Thank you.
Schererville Central Lions, I want to thank you for your hard work in our community, the fundraising efforts you do, and also the contributions you make to our community monetarily and spiritually, or whatever you do to help get people together here. So I do appreciate that. And for that, we give you a round of applause. So thank you. We have no current old business here, so under new business, we have item A, satisfaction of the BCFT LLC sewer recapture agreement, May 1st, 1998, amended July 24, 2001, and second recapture agreement, July 24, 2001 for Regency Centers at Shops on Main. Council members, this is what we had from the utility board here. There's no changes on this, is that correct? Just the ratification from our town council. Pleasure, council members, on this item.
So move, Mr. President.
Second. A motion, second, any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item B is consider a motion to accept uniform property acquisition offer for the purchase of 39 West Joliet Street. Mr. Volkman, can you brief us on this item?
Mr. Chairman, this is the site of the old laundromat on Joliet Street. We had done appraisals on that property based on your direction to try to acquire that property from the owner. I did meet with the owner, present him with an offer to purchase, and he has accepted that. Tonight, the action I would seek from you is to authorizing us to move towards closing and authorize the expenditure of $145,000 for the purchase of the site.
Thank you, Mr. Volkman.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And a motion?
Second.
And a second, any discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Item C is consider recommendation for appointment to Little Calumet River Basin Project Advisory Board Commission. Gentlemen, I'd like to recommend Eric Wolverton. He's a Schererville resident, and he meets the qualifications to serve Schererville's interest on the Little Calumet River Basin Advisory Board.
So moved.
A motion, second. Any discussion on my recommendation? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Item D, consider revision of Lincoln Ridge Plaza PUD for construction of coffee cabin. This is Plan Commission case number 14-7-3. Petitioners are Jeff Conti and Troy Oberg. Location, Lincoln Ridge Plaza, US 30. Plan Commission favor recommendation with contingencies. Mr. Volkman, can you brief us on this item?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The Lincoln Ridge Plaza is an old recorded PUD, and there was an outlot, or there was a lot on it which was originally owned by Sand Ridge Bank. It was next to a parking lot where they had their data processing center. The revision, the requirement here for your approval is because there was a revision, there was no original site plan for that site. It was just a vacant lot. Mr. Conti has come in with a proposal for a coffee cabin, which is a drive-through, prefabricated structure, but they'll just serve coffee. And he's presented it to the Plan Commission. It's gone through approval. You have some drawings in front of you. They kind of highlight the strong points of the development, and it's here for your consideration tonight for approval of the revision to the PUD.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Schmidt.
Bob, what was the recommendation from the planning commission? What was the vote on it?
It was 7-0.
Pleasure of the council members regarding this revision.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the PUD revision.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Hearing a second, any discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Not hearing anything? Motion carries 5-0. Next item is item E, consider recommendation from town manager and clerk treasurer regarding ordinance number 1843, second quarter bonus 2014. And I have a letter here from our town manager, clerk treasurer. I'll read it. It's regarding the quarterly bonus. For President Trump, so please be advised that Schererville Clerk Treasurer Janice Manowski and I reviewed evaluated the requirements of the Schererville 2014 salary ordinance number 1843. We have completed the budget and expense analysis required, and we are in agreement in making a recommendation to the town council that due to the increases in expenses, that funding is not currently available to support the second quarterly bonus compensation for town employees as specified in section 3 of the ordinance. Pleasure of the council in accepting that recommendation. So moved. A motion. Second. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. 5-0. Thank you, Bob Volk and for your hard work on that area. Next item is consider acceptance of donations totaling $1,852.48. We have quite a few here, Janice, do you want to read them, or?
Yes, I will. Donation acceptance as of today, July 9th. Fire Equipment Fund donations, Doris Poitras, $23.23. Torch Run donations, Schererville Police Department, $34.25. National Night Out, that's the big donation fund here. Baseball card exchange, $200. Rosewood Inn, $100. David Ross, $50. Donna Byrne Dancers Inc., $100. Dr. Elliott Associates, $100. Absolute Construction, $100. Paul Hosting, $25. Grimmer's Liquor, $100. Prism Painting, $100. AAA Supply Corp., $100. Macaulay Real Estate, $100. Toby Inc., $50. Modern Heating and Cooling, $50. Mason Corporation, $250. Otrobanak and Vlasic PC $50, Jeffrey Sabisky DDS $50, Richard Iasio DDS $100, Northwest Oral Surgeons PC $100, and Providence Bank $50. So total for National Night Out donations was $1,775 and a grand total of $1,832.48.
Thank you. Pleasure of the council members on accepting these donations. So moved. I'll accept them. There's a motion second, third and fourth. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is item G, which is resolution 2014-9. It's a resolution transfer funds within the category of appropriations. Ms. Malinowski, would you like to brief us on this?
Yes, and this again, Mr. Chairman, has to do with our health insurance fund. We transferred in administration, park and recreation, MBH, and special deferral non-reverting court fund. These are all transfers up to our health insurance fund, totaling a little over $70,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a motion? Is there a second to accept this resolution? Second. Second, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Next item is item H, is resolution 2014-10. It's a resolution declaring the month of July 2014 as Tri-Town Safety Village Month in the town of Schererville and all matters related thereto. I have a resolution here and I will read it in its entirety, so bear with me. Town of Schererville, County, Indiana, resolution 2014-10 is a resolution declaring the month of July 2014 as Tri-Town Safety Village Month in the town of Schererville and all matters related thereto. Whereas the Town Council of Town of Schererville, County, Indiana, herein the Town Council is cognizant of the public safety services and activities of the Tri-Town Safety Village entity and facility located in the Town of Schererville under the oversight and management leadership of Executive Director Bill Jarvis and under the oversight guidance of the Board of Directors of the Tri-Town Safety Village Inc. entity. And whereas the Town Council is further aware and cognizant of the incredible child safety education function and activities undertaken and fulfilled by the leadership of the Tri-Town Safety Village entity and facility for school-aged children, as well as by its numerous volunteers, donors, and contributing municipal sponsors, including with the town of Schererville as the towns of St. John and Dyer. And whereas the town council is informed and advised that thousands of school-aged children have participated in educational functions of the Tri-Town Safety Village facility over the years as existence, and such participation ever increasing in recent years as consequence of the expansion and completion of facilities with accompanying continued growth of leadership for same. And whereas the town council being duly and currently informed and having reviewed all matters concludes hereby that the Tri-Town Safety Village Inc. entity, facility, leadership, and partners have developed and operated a regionally recognized school-age education facility and program that has and will continue to benefit school-age children of Schererville, St. John, and Dyer, and all of Northwest Indiana with its existence, facilities, and functions. Now therefore be resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Schererville, Lake County, Indiana, as follows. Section 1, that as a consequence of its growth, development, and substantial role in the towns of Schererville, St. John, and Dyer, for the provision of public safety education programming and services to school-aged children of said communities in Northwest Indiana, the Tri-Town Safety Village Inc. entity and facility should properly be recognized for the growth, development, and success by appropriate recognition. Although it is self-evident that mere words and oratory are barely sufficient gestures, the Town Council of the Town of Schererville, Lake County, Indiana, hereby declares the month of July 2014 as Tri-Town Safety Village Month as such recognition. Section 2, that in addition to the recognition herein of the Tri-Town Safety Village entity and facility by declaring the month of July 2014 as Tri-Town Safety Village Month, this resolution shall serve to recognize and thank the management and leadership of the Executive Director, Board of Directors, past and present, as well as all the employees, volunteers, donors, partners, and supporting entities and communities including the towns of St. John and Dyer, for the participatory role and involvement each and every of the entities and individuals here have provided to substantial and incredible educational facility entity. Section 3, that this resolution shall be transmitted by the Schererville Town Manager and Clerk Treasurer to the Tri-Town CDBG entity, its Executive Director and Board of Directors, as well as to each of the towns of St. John and Dyer upon approval. And Section 4, that this resolution take effect and be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the Town Council of the Town of Schererville, Indiana, in conformance and with applicable law. All of which is passed and resolved this 9th day of July 2014 by the Town Council of the Town of Schererville, Indiana. By all of its members here. With that being said, gentlemen, pleasure of the council on resolution 2014-10.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. So keep up good work. Right, Councilman. At this time, we have a special award we want to give out. And giving it out is State Representative Hal Slater.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd kind of like to be able to talk to everybody, so I might turn if I could.
Show us your good side.
You know, this is the second month in a row I've been here, and you're probably thinking, boy, it's been a year and now all of a sudden you can't get rid of me. The interesting thing, actually, is after 10 years on the council, sitting back here is kind of hard. Mr. President, I'll have you know the votes were 6-0, not 5. Because I kept finding myself saying aye.
Thank you for your support.
Today I'm here not with policy or legislation, but to give out an award, and a governor's award, that is. The governor likes to recognize Hoosiers for special things that they do in their community. And he's got several awards. He has an honorary Hoosier Award. Those are for people that don't live in Indiana, but they've done something good for Indiana. And then, of course, a Distinguished Hoosier Award, that's for someone that does live here. And then, for those that do some really exemplary work for their community, they have the Sagamore, the Wabash Award. Now, the Sagamore Award was invented, if you will, by Governor Gates in 1945. And it's been given out by every governor for ever since, and at the governor's discretion. And so you might be thinking that Sagamore, that's kind of a strange name. And Sagamore, what it really means, that's an Indian term, an Algonquin Indian term, where the Sagamore was the member of the tribe who the chief would go to for advice. So it's quite an honor to receive a Sagamore from the governor on that basis. When I think about the assets that we have in our area, it's interesting. You go and visit someplace and you see the sites, and there are people that are going about their lives that don't think anything about it. We have the same thing right here. We have, of course, the Indiana Dunes, which many people consider the eighth wonder of the world, many geologists. We have now in St. John, the Shrine of Christ's Passion, which has become a huge destination point for many people. And it was interesting, when I walked in the door and I was talking to Mr. Jarvis, he was talking about the fact that the Tri-Town Safety Village has become the diamond in the rough, the point in this Tri-Town community where lots of people are starting to become aware that this is a very special place. And I couldn't agree more.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about the Safety Village. I remember when I first became a councilman, I heard about the Quad Town Safety Village. And I had no idea what it was. And of course, I think most people in the room know that this was a concept for teaching youth and students about safety. And originally it was about the Survival Lighthouse. And of course, it's grown much more beyond that. Originally, it was a child-sized community to teach law enforcement, fire safety, railroad safety, and street crossings. And I remember year after year, we would kick in our money, and as did all the other towns, and there were so many dedicated volunteers, but it seemed like it was so long to get moving. And fortunately, we had a big donor who had contributed enough to get the paving done so it could become functional, but we didn't have a full-time director, we didn't have a real advocate, we didn't have any money, and the buildings needed to be refinanced. And we had to face the decision on whether we were going to go forward with refinancing this property if we weren't convinced that this project was going to go. And so after much discussion, the council members got together with the council members of the other towns, and I see Council President Forbes is here, he was part of that. We decided that we needed to make this go, and we needed to somehow find a way to get somebody to be the sponsor, the champion, the director. And as luck would have it, and that was about 2010, Bill Jarvis had sold his business and was looking for a new challenge. So we got the big idea, hey, let's get Bill, he'd be perfect. And so, can't you just imagine that presentation? Hey, Bill, we've got this great opportunity for you. There's no pay. But we've got lots of great volunteers, and we've got this development in work, and we need somebody to really help raise money. Oh, by the way, there's no money. In fact, at the time, I think there was a negative amount in the checkbook, which meant there was some check stuffed in a drawer somewhere, waiting for some money to come in. And gee, would you be willing to reach out to the business community and to the different school districts and try to make this thing go? And believe it or not, he said yes. And I'm still scratching my head on that one. Because either he was really happy about selling his business, or he wasn't sure what he was really getting into. And what's interesting about that, even when I walked in today, Bill's still promoting about the new programs he's got going, about the new schools that East Chicago's going to be coming, and telling, and of course, that excitement is infectious. And so when I think back about where we were in 2010, negative money in the bank, we had 6 schools that participated with about 300 students. And in 2013, there were 40 schools and 4,200 students that went through the program. And not only that, we had this huge expansion of services. I mean, now they're teaching electric safety, natural gas safety. They got art classes going on now, developing programs for disabled children and tutoring kids in the summertime. And the other one I really get a kick out of is the master gardeners. They pulled in the master gardeners so that they have a vegetable garden, so they can teach kids about growing vegetables. And there's probably a little soil and water conservation education in there as well. And then we have volunteers that harvest that, and then I understand the food goes to the local food pantry as well. So the broad spectrum of what goes on in this diamond in the rough is huge, and it's largely because we've had just a great amount of volunteers that have been willing to give their time, and particularly Bill, who has poured his heart and soul into making this go. So, come on, Bill. Bill, you know, I think about what you've accomplished, and it's really quite astounding. It's beyond any of our expectations. I know that all of us who were part of that thought, gee, I hope this works. And of course, it's gone way beyond, I hope it works. It's really become a great asset to our town. And words, just a thank you in itself just didn't seem quite enough. So we call them the big guns. I call it the governor. And so all I can say is you are a sanctuary of lives. You're in very rare company. I was talking with Bob, and we were trying to think of who in the area has received this award. And of course, that was Ryan Burley of Dyer and Vic Crane, former councilman and town manager, and about everything here in town. So thank you for your service. Congratulations.
Say is thank you very much. I'm probably going to have to keep this very short because I guarantee I'm going to tear up with it. This was so unexpected. I mean, it's a great honor. I've been given a privilege of taking the Safety Village and try to help save children. You have to understand that if I do a good job, nothing happens. Nobody gets hurt. And I'm trying to expand into areas that haven't even been dwelled into yet, tutoring. We have a butterfly garden, we have the food gardens, the vegetable gardens. We have so many different volunteers that make this work. I mean, we have a great president, Janice Malchow is in the room today. Our board members, sometimes we get a little struggle along, but that's okay. I mean, it's okay to disagree with things because it makes it work even better. I'm surprised by this, to say the least, but the Safety Village can go far into the future. We have the city of East Chicago that Hal had mentioned is now looking to send all of their second graders to the town of Schererville. And that's in the works right now and will be finalized on Tuesday, that with the policemen and firemen. But let me give you a little history about myself and my family. We experienced a fire years ago, and my house burned to the ground. Bob Volkman was there. Chiefs were there. They were helping fight it. I almost lost my son in that fire. And I said that if I could ever get back to the community, I would. And Jerry Kingston approached me about doing just that, and I grabbed onto that right away because I felt that if I could teach one child to be safe and get out of a burning home, I've done my job. I've set my place. So with the support of the community, we've taken this to a whole new level, and I see it expanding even much further than that. And this is so much appreciated but unexpected. Please thank the governor for me, and thank you everyone else. Thank you very much.
behalf of the Schererville Town Council, we want to congratulate you on that prestigious award that Representative House Slater submitted your name for and the governor presented. So congratulations, well deserved. We're glad you're with us. Next item is just basically business from the floor. Any business from the floor regarding town council business? Any business from Cindy?
Cindy Murray,
I'm going to turn the microphone towards you.
Oh, I can do that. Cindy Carini, 5491 West 87th Court. I was out at the dog park this afternoon, and I just had a few questions. First of all, I've been out of town for 3 weeks, so I'm not sure what's going on out there. But I did notice that the tree bags are empty and that the town needs to put in the electricity and the water for those trees. And I was wondering if, in fact, there isn't any water put in those trees, if the trees die over the next few days, that's question number one, whether or not the town will replace those trees. Just to go back over a little bit of history, the foundation under the wine tasting raised $17,000 in February to put landscaping out there, and that's what we see going in right now. So there were many people in Schererville that donated to that. Number two, my question is, let's see, I noticed along the fence line that someone has sprayed some kind of chemical to kill the grass. And I wondered, it's all along the edge of the fence, wondered whether or not someone has checked into whether or not that is something that is okay for dogs to be around. I know the products that I would use in my own yard to kill the grass are toxic to animals. So I wanted to make sure that whoever is doing that spraying has checked that out. And what the town would do if in fact a dog was hurt or injured by the chemicals, if they are in fact toxic. The third thing is when I went out there, I noticed that the gate is broken and that the maintenance gate, first of all, on the gate, there's a sign that says use the maintenance gate. So the maintenance gate is currently unlocked and you just push that open to get in. So currently, as the dog park is right now, anyone can get in with their dog, which means that hopefully we don't, but we could have dogs that are going in there that they have not signed a waiver or that they have not had their shots. So those are my 3 questions.
Thank you. Cindy, thank you for bringing these items to our attention. Bob, I don't know if you're aware of these or not, or?
I was not.
Okay, well, you know what, make sure we can we'll address these.
I know there's water out there, because I know that they set up temporary water for them, but I don't know who's been watering the trees and stuff. With all the rain we have, I don't know if the trees have it. They may have a problem having too much water, but I can find out all that. Tomorrow I'll send you an email.
Is there a way to get water to the trees for the weekend?
Yeah, there is, I think they set up a temporary spigot. They were supposed to do the sprinkling cap today, but,
I don't think it happened.
well, it's because they were on another job when one of the employees got injured, so they didn't get over there. So, I know that that's on target to be done. That was the next project they were working on, a water break today, and they were doing that this morning. I think it was a valve repair, and they were going over to the safety village, but during the valve repair, one of the employees was injured and ended up at the hospital, so that, I know that that's next on the agenda is to get the water tap there, but they did do a temporary tap off the hydrant for them when they were putting in all the landscaping. On the maintenance side, I would think that would be part of the responsibility of the water, and that's why I don't have the information that you need, but I'll find out and I'll send you an email.
Okay, and find out if they can get water, because then after you all do the electricity and the water, my understanding is then the irrigation company comes back and hooks that all up so it works,
Okay.
right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
they probably do all the programming and everything.
Right.
They got
But
power.
they have to have the electricity and the water.
I didn't know, I thought the power was already there, so I don't know where the coordination there was at, because they were gonna put the control by the tower, and because that's where the power was at, so I'm not familiar either, so I'll find out.
Okay,
I'll send you.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other business from the floor? Any other business from the floor? Seeing and hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.